Good morning! Sorry for being a little bit late, people. But here I am with good news. The first good news is that I'm going to put the candle on. Don't we like it? The other good news is that we are stepping into a week ahead where there is a lot of lucky events happening. So tune into that energy. Yesterday we did speak about this energy of tuning in to what you want to happen. And I know that from the past that sometimes it's easier to actually focus on the negative or the sad feeling, the empty feeling. But a lot of you guys have wounds around that. So you're actually, felt like I had a staring contest with you for a moment there. So you're actually learning to turn around that wound of maybe looking a little bit deeper or too deep into, or Spirit just said feeding. Okay, thank you. It's a better way. You are feeding the negative or the sadness or the things that's not really helping you. So that is a wound that you're healing. So what is it that you want to feed? Did I say it right? Not your feet, but maybe you want to heal your feet. Feeding. What are you feeding into? Yeah, well. So there's shifts coming. Especially there's something about the Kashini. That's what is that actually? Holy Spirit. We're healing things. And there are things coming back into our life. Like a lucky period of time. And it's like you have to look 12 years into the future. This shift happened in April last year, 2023. Damn it, I did write this down, now I can remember it. Okay, I'm gonna run up and look at my notes because I want you to pay attention to this. I'm back! So, this shift happened in April last year, 2023. April 2011. April 1999 and March of 1987. So there is this like spree happening that you're moving into. We have been speaking and spoken about this for a while now, that you're jumping into a new circle now for your next 20 years. But again, there's sections happening of your life. So it's a very, very lucky time for you now. Pay attention to that. For instance, for me, 12 years ago I lived in another country. I lived in France. Was in a relationship. We have spoken about that in the Valentine reading. I did. That I haven't been in a relationship for, well, since that time. But also, if I think about it, when it comes to like really committed relationships, I have only really had two where I was very, very committed and was deep into the relationship, right? The other relationships has just been like, I don't know, dates or whatever else you want to call that. So there's a new circle starting for me, and it's also something that we have spoken about, or that I told you guys with like the psychic told me I'm gonna, you know, live in another country. Well, interesting, because it's the circle that comes back in. And also that my career is shifting, or the way that I reach the public, my audience is shifting, which is also interesting because recently I did start posting content on Instagram when it comes to pictures, when it comes to styling myself when it comes to, you know, showing a little bit more of my witchy side, because I did that 12 years ago. But something happened where I needed to heal a wound about myself, about accepting myself. So now things are coming back around so that I can do things better. And it's actually exciting, and I talk about this because I really want you to look back at what happened back then. Maybe some of you guys started out a business, but it failed. So there might be something coming in where you have the opportunity to do it again, but better, because now you have the knowledge of, you know, a learning and a healing of a wound the past 12 years. Isn't that interesting? It's exciting. People, we have been speaking about this for so long, the past 3 years. The focus has been on this shift. And it's interesting because recently I actually remember that the first videos I made, remember when I actually filmed in there, I didn't have a table. I used boxes. I used boxes where I put a piece of wood over. That was my table. That is how I started everything. And look at me now. In my witch's setting. So, again, look at how far you have come. But back then, what I want to say is that I spoke a lot about the once in a blue full moon. A lot. And I spoke a lot about the age of Aquarius. Today, now, that is what we are fully stepping into. We are fully deep in it. We are not stepping into it because we are actually in it. You're already on the pathway, so why not just continue? Spirit, with all that said, the first card is rock bottom, which connected with the past and connected with 10. There's a circle ending. We have never gotten this card before, by the way. What happens with this wall that you might feel like you're standing in front of? Well, you break it, because it actually looks very easy to break. But if you don't try, you'll never figure out, right? Then we have 5 goblins. We know what 5 is, because 5 is the new beginnings. Oh. Goblins. Why do I feel like I see something when someone talked about goblins? Yeah. Okay. Magic Stream 18. I know this card actually came up in one of the readings for the year ahead. If you remember, if this is yours, if you look it up with your moon, sun, rising sign, and this is a card that comes up for March, you know what's happening. Because I know I used this deck for some zodiac signs. Magic Stream 18. What is that? 9. 9 is almost there. It's like, keep walking. So, I will take the book. Because the first 2 cards are cards that I have never seen before. So, surrender and acceptance are the keys to freedom. It's so funny because with the shoot that I did yesterday with the new outfit, I also include tarot cards or oracle cards, and one of the oracle cards actually had freedom in it. So there you go. So even if there is something right now that seems very difficult, or something that's, I don't know, in a way difficult to accept, it could be, you know, that you need glasses now, or that you get a feeling like you're getting older, or that you have gained weight, you know, whatever it is. There's very silly things, or that you got fired, or that you need to move. It's like things that might be hard to accept, but once you accept it, there's freedom in it, because then change is coming. And we can always change circumstances, always. That is the beauty of us living on this earth in 3D. So you have reached a point where you cannot go any further. Like, there is a stuckness, and a lot of you guys might feel like there's nothing here anymore. Yeah. If you feel there is confusion, sadness, anxiety, stress, it's because you have reached a point in your life where you can't, you know, like there's no height to be reached. Does that make sense? That you can't go further. I don't know why I tried to make that any more complicated. So you need to find another way or break that wall and see what's behind that wall, which can be very scary because, you know, what happens when we break that wall? Is everything going to collapse? Probably. Something is going to collapse. Something has collapsed. So the old way of doing something is gone for you. Yeah. The only way out is through surrender. Accept things as they are and admit that you have no idea what to do next. Because that is the fact. Some of us might feel that way. Like, I don't know what's next, but you know, I'm gonna surrender to the energies because there is a lot of heavy energies. Hello. And also with what we just spoke, right? The shift is happening. With change comes change. Also, our surroundings are changing. For instance, if I'm jumping into the next phase of what I did 12 years ago, it means that I'm moving to another country, which is very magical, but it also means that I do have to leave my family again, right? And also, again, there's so many floating thoughts because it's like, what about Boone? Is he going to come with me? Is he going to stay? What about my career, my work, you know, my clients? You know, there's so many thoughts, but focusing so much on all these questions does cause a lot of stress. So the only thing we can do is actually surrender to something is changing. And the best way is just to follow the path. Each day, live like it's your last day. Live in the moment. Wow, we're going deep today. I do have a feeling that it's going to be a long reading today. So, that is the past. That is this card. Then, in the here and now, we do have the goblins, number 5. Fear is an illusion. Well, there you go. Well spoken. Choose love today. Forgive yourself and others. I know. This forgiving thing is the hardest game because a lot of times we are like sitting in this like, well, they did me wrong. They did this. They caused me scars. They caused me trauma. And I cannot forgive that. But what happens if you don't forgive that? Then you keep dwelling in it. Then you keep bumping your head against the wall. You know? I know. Goblins are born when you are wounded. Effing mofo. We just spoke about wounds, didn't we? Thank you, universe, because you speak our language today. Can you hear it? Can you sense it? And something essential is lost in that experience. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows. There, they remind you of what brought them into being by mimicking your own voice. There you go. Tricking you into believing that you are unworthy, victimized, or unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-esteem, self-sabotage, and the feeling that you are lacking what you need. We ain't going to let the goblins hold us prisoner. Which makes sense, because I do have a feeling that it has something to do with this like energy of staying in this room, staying close to this wall, and being like, well, I'm just waiting. I'm just like, something must happen if I'm just standing still here, right? But then the more you stand still, the more you have this feeling of like, well, maybe I'm unworthy of actually breaking that wall. Or turning around, like, oh my god, why should I turn around? I don't want to go through all these experiences again, but who says that all these experiences are there if you turn around? Maybe you just have to turn around and then suddenly you see that you are actually in a complete different area. You cannot walk the path you have already walked. Thank you. Ask Spirit to help and heal. Miracles can and do happen. Let go of the negativity. We just spoke about that. We just spoke about it, people. Hello. It also makes sense with yesterday's 18, and it just hit 18. So listen up. Everything is connected through the universal flow of consciousness. Everything is connected. Felt like I heard something. Today we are not taking tarot, people, because this is all we need, okay? This is all we need. Every experience you have seems to have its own life story, with a beginning, a middle, and eventually an end. However, there is danger in seeing events as separate from one another, since in fact they are all part of everything that happens. Greater evolution. Allow the magic to flow through you and carry your dreams into reality. Your success will benefit many. Which, again, I have spoken about this so many times. You guys who are on this channel, you are light workers. You are starseeds. You are here to actually help people through your own pain. Because whatever you have experienced the past 12 years is something you can teach people in whatever way you want to do that. If it's writing a book, if it's talking on Instagram or YouTube, if it's writing a blog, whatever it is, if it's, you know, doing meetings, public speaking, whatever it is. Or just like, again, maybe you just have this like healing aura where you attract people who speak openly about their trauma, and then you like heal them by speaking about their trauma. Does that make sense? You speak healing into the existence. You heal people by just speaking about them or being in their present. I hope that is the way to say it. Before this gets too long, because I feel like I really have stressed today's reading, I'm gonna end it and say break that wall. And also the rock bottom is like, for me, the 10 of Swords. Like, you can't fall any lower. It's not like you're going to suffer any more than what you have already done. So now you can actually focus on the brighter days, the magic coming your way. But you do need to focus on it. Don't invite the goblins into your life, because they're going to create nightmares. I really do want you to focus on that. If you have anxiety or something else, think about goblins running around in your brain or around you. Like, I don't think you want to continue doing that. With that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a magical day. Bye.